It's super fun to drive, and I just can't get a smile off my face when I drive it.
Welcome to my vlog!
Get after it!
Stop up on top of the big hill.
What's up, guys? So today we're running the Pro Mod UTV out at Urex MOTORPARK. Yeah, we're racing Pro Mod UTV this year. Had the boys from Fox come and a buddy from Polaris Engineering come give me a hand. So lots of shock tuning, lots of calibration setup stuff. Feel like we made some really good jumps in the right direction, and feel really good in the car. So Pro Mod UTV is there's two UTV classes. One is Pro Stock, which is basically just a stock UTV with a roll cage. Can do some clutching and some mild suspension work, but stock suspension pivots, stock frame, stock motor, you know, kind of more of a spec class. And then Pro Mod UTV, you can do turbo work, you can do engine work, open suspension, you can widen the cars, you can run a lot more crazy parts in them. So that's what this car is. It's a Pro Mod. It's got a widening kit, so it's about 78 inches wide. Yeah, and we run them pretty low to the ground. We're running about 9 or 10 inches of ride height, and I think 27-inch tires. So kind of set up for short course for sure. It's not something you'd go trail ride, but they're putting out some really big power. They're super fun to drive, and they drive, you know, a lot more like a race truck than they do a standard UTV. So they're pretty fun. You can get after them pretty hard, flick them in the corners, you know, hold her wide and just give her the beats. Yeah, I decided to get into this class this year because for one, just Polaris is a great sponsor, and it was something that I've always wanted to get back into. It's how I kind of started in off-road, was in a UTV. And I haven't really been in one racing. You know, I've trail ridden them and bombed around in them all the time, but haven't had a race specific build since they have built turbo. So this is the first turbo race car I've built. Pretty excited for the season to get here and see how she stacks up, but it's super fast. It's blown me away how far they've come in the past couple of years. They're way different than they used to be, and they progress so fast, and they're so much closer to a race truck now than they used to be. So pretty fun to drive. The most challenging part about this build is it's a Pro XP, so it's the brand new chassis platform that Polaris came out with. It's from the ground up different, so there aren't carryover parts from the turbos and a bunch of these other cars other than maybe driveline and a few slight things, but chassis wise it's a completely different car. So that is inherently more difficult because there isn't a baseline. So I can't go to a guy that raced last year and say, hey, what did you run? So it's kind of a blank slate, good and bad. It makes it good because we can kind of try to start from our own path and develop it how we want to and set the trend and, be the first to kind of reap the benefits of this new car. And at the same time, you don't have the safety of like, ooh, this worked last year, so it's got to work this year. So some of it it takes more testing, it takes more track time to make sure that we're going to be reliable and fast and all that. So. My dad had a Razor 800 right when they first came out, like the real narrow ones, and I only got to ride it like one time because he almost tipped it. And he's like, I'm not letting Andrew drive this. He's just gonna wreck the thing. So I think he had it for a little bit and then we sold it. So that was the first one I rode in. Or some of the biggest changes I've seen on the UTV is just like getting it on the ground and seeing how it looks at that ride height and like with the shocks and wheels. I've seen it on stands for so long that I thought it was taller and narrower, and then when you get the wheels on it and all that, it kind of like it just has a cool stance, and it's not something I've seen a bunch of working on it. So that's probably the coolest thing, like to see it progress. That was super cool. So the biggest difference between the Pro 4 and the Pro 2 versus this car, for one, it's a lot of it is the bigger the vehicle, it responds differently. The Pro 4 and Pro 2, when you get them moving in one direction, it takes a lot more to get that direction to change. So in the UTV, you can like weave it in and out of stuff easier because it's a smaller vehicle, lighter vehicle, it has less momentum, so it's easier to change that momentum. And even though it doesn't have near the power to weight is pretty similar. So I feel like you have similar tires, so you actually have a little more grip compared to the amount of power you have in the UTV. So you can get them to kind of hook up where you want to and drive them more like a go-kart and weave in and out and stuff like that. So that's probably the biggest difference between the UTV and the race trucks. And the race trucks, everything just comes so much faster because you're going, at some tracks over 100 miles an hour. And in these, they don't quite make it to 3 digits. So everything just comes at you quicker in the Pro 4. So you gotta be on your game a little bit more that way. And it's definitely a steeper learning curve. I think the UTVs are a great way to get into class and into off-road racing because you can buy them at a dealership. There's part numbers for a lot of the parts you need. You don't have to custom make everything. And then at the same time, it's an easier learning curve because the risks aren't quite so high to get at race speed. I think we'll go back to racing the Pro 2 eventually. I think this year we really need to focus on the Pro 4 because of all the changes in the new motor packages and stuff like that we got. We're going to have better results with just focusing on the Pro 4 this year. So, I'm excited. I think we've had a good run with the Pro 2 the last couple of years, and we're not parking it, because stuff wasn't working and stuff like that. It's just we're keeping it because we're going to get back to racing that too. But this year, I think to be as fast as we can be in the Pro 4, I think racing the UTV, which is also 4-wheel drive, and the Pro 4 are going to pair themselves really well with each other. And at the same time, we're going to, be able to put a lot of effort in the Pro 4 and make it as good as it can be. Oh man, I'm kind of torn because I kind of want to paint the Pro 2 to look like the Pro 4 is going to look this year, so we can use it, for fun videos. Well, because mid-season, it's really hard to go drive the Pro 4 and go, hit a jump or something like that because it's the race vehicle and we got to keep it prepped and got to be careful with it. So with the with the Pro 2 looking like it, then we can like use it in promo videos or like go to burnouts or like drive it to Culvers or something like that. But at the same time, have you seen the creamy beige? It looks really cool. So I'm torn. I don't know. We're gonna keep the creamy bodies for sure. For like, we're gonna save them, but we'll gotta see. We might rent it out this year too. Kind of on the fence. We'll see. We got some stuff in the works, but we'll keep it posted. First race this year is June 20th and 21st in Crandon. 100% on. Got the green light. State of Wisconsin's cool. The next test and tune day at ERX is May 30th. Hopefully I think for sure probably run the UTV there. If the Pro 4 is available and around, we might pull it out too. We'll throw some dirt. So, but for sure we'll be here. We'll be out running in the UTV for sure. Maybe even cream the beige. See. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. It's kind of like a flip from last week. Last week we didn't do much driving. It was more in the shop thrashing and getting stuff done, and this was like reaping the benefits of that. So super fun. I feel like I wasn't on camera much today, but I was. But yeah, because I was focused on driving and getting back in the seat. So had a super fun day. I'm gonna sleep good tonight, and yeah. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go to my Instagram page, Andrew Carlson 15, and peace out. Did I get him? Nope. What the? Freaking bugs, man. Get out of here.
Every Thursday, you know it, right?